My name's Annie. I'm the co-creator and performer of Monks.
I am Veronica, the other half of Monks.
And Monks is an hour-long show in which two monks have a day off at the monastery from their grueling job of counting lentils. And they decide to invite 70, in this case, strangers to the monastery to enjoy a day of doing nothing. And chaos ensues after that.
And then for you guys, where did your kind of performing journey together begin?
Well, Veronica and I have been best friends for 15 years. We met in high school on orientation day, and we went to an arts high school. So we were performing since we were like 14 together. And then we got some grants from the Canada Council, and we got some really incredible clown training over the past like 8 years from theater school and from what we were able to do with our grants. And Monks is kind of our biggest like debut work of that whole combination of like 15 years of starting to make shows together.
And then for you guys, where did the kind of journey with this show begin? I know we've been doing it for a couple of years in Canada and everything, but where did Monks kind of first come from?
The journey began with a Toronto Fringe slot. And like so many artists, we had been sort of beating around the bush for a while. Clown, as you may very well know, requires an audience. And although we'd been working for a few years on different concepts, we hadn't taken the plunge yet of really sharing our work with a large audience. And suddenly, with the deadline of a Toronto Fringe slot quickly approaching, we had no choice but to really get up on our feet and produce a full-length work. So Annie and I met one cold Canadian morning at a bagel shop and found that we, oddly enough, had similar points of inspiration that we'd been sort of circling for a while. And we were really drawn to the medieval times. We were drawn to something anachronistic and something that allowed us to play and explore, not necessarily as women. So we were excited about the prospect of medieval monks. And there was something insane about the mundanity of lentils and the simplicity of lentils. And the fact that the world of monks has so many rules, which a good clown, of course, yearns to break. So the point of inspiration was the medieval times.
Brilliant. I'm so excited for it today because I love that kind of history, like Monty Python, obviously being British, so it's like world of that is massive. But then for you guys, it's your first visit to Edinburgh. Why this year? Why is it the time for it?
Well, we have just we created this show because we needed to, because we love clown and because we had a Fringe slot, and never expected that 2 years later we'd still be touring Canada on our third remount in Toronto. And what we're getting from audiences is just how much fun they're having, and how people, like in Toronto, we have people who have come back 5 times now to see the show. And so right now feels like a great time to have our international debut after 2 years of just continuing to tour Canada.
Mm-hmm. It also feels like Edinburgh is likely on every theater artist's sort of dream vision board of what adventure they might like to take on, but it's also incredibly daunting. And so just to take the jump and decide to apply to the festival it's daunting and it's scary, and it feels a bit like, if not now, then when? There's never going to be an ideal time to take the show with all the logistical and financial obstacles overseas, but now just feels like the right time to jump.
And as you touched on, kind of the audience interaction is a big part of the show. I guess that keeps it obviously fresh for you guys because every performance is different. But how do you then prepare for a show when you're not knowing what's going to happen?
Yeah. So our script, even though it's an hour-long show, is only 10 pages. So as you can imagine, that leaves tons of room just for anything to happen. And I mean, we prepare as much as we want to, but in our experience, being unprepared for what people bring in and letting the audience kind of like take the show away with us and make it our own in that room on that day is also really, really exciting.
And how do you kind of hold it in, I suppose, like rein it back if it's going too far one way? How do you kind of pull it in that way as well?
I think part of our rule as in this show is what's important to us is that the audience is having fun and getting what they want. So, like, for example, one night, the audience, for some reason, wanted to cheer this guy's dad's name. And that has nothing to do with the show, but they were all loving it. So why would we get in the way of that joy? We know the beats. We know how to get back to the next game. But if they want to chant some guy's dad's name, then who are we, two humble monks, to stand in their way? That's what it's called.
I'd also like to mention that something we're really interested in and continuing to explore is the role of a stage manager as an improviser in a show. And Monks has these sort of moments where our wonderful stage manager, Dylan, can also participate in sort of steering the timing of the show, which is really exciting as a performer to not know when the stage manager is going to jump in and put in their 2 cents.
Yes. And then as you kind of touched on, you've done the Fringe kind of over there in Toronto, but this one's like month, it's consistent. How do you prepare for that month-long run of the show?
Do you have any tips?
No.
We're not sure. I mean, we've done it many times now in Canada. We've never done it for a month straight. And it is, although it's an hour, an incredibly demanding show, physically, mentally, vocally. There's so many parts to it. I think we'll have to develop a pretty strong routine and maybe not have a cheeky beer every night, maybe just sometimes.
Well, it's debatable because Edinburgh is great for places to go. So I'm not coming obviously until later into the run as well. So I'll bring some energy.
We'll be strong for you.
Yeah, we'll endure.
We'll hold it together.
Perfect. And then if you guys were going to ask the characters for some inspiration ahead of the run, what do you think they would say?
It's a great question.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a terrific question.
I think my character, and no one will understand this until they watch the show, would say, ride it into the night.
I think my brother is going to have so much facial pain from smiling at all the new faces. I think the brothers will frankly be so thrilled to just meet so many people from all over the world. I can't even imagine all the new things they're going to learn about the year 2026 and technology and the world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strong. And then if you were flying the show, but you can't use a flyer, what object would you use to give out?
This one's easy. Lentils.
Yeah.
And frankly, we might.
Yeah.
That's our calling card. We've left them in every theater we've performed in across Canada so far. People find them in their pockets for years afterwards. So it's part of the show.
Yeah, we've had countless people tell us that after attending the show and running their trousers, whatever they were wearing, through the wash, they've found a handful of soggy lentils in their pants.
Hell yeah. And then for you guys, what would you deem as success at the end of the Fringe run?
At the end, I think what's most important to us is, well, one, just being able to go is for 2 people from Canada with a show we started at the Fringe. Like, this is a huge, we've been dreaming about this. So just the fact that we get to go and do the show that we love doing 21 more times is amazing. I think one of my main goals is just to get audiences in, like have people we can connect with and meet and support all the clowns from around the world who are doing work that inspire us.
It's true. It doesn't take many audience members to be able to set the show in motion, but if we could really get people in the door and get some word of mouth out, and if people on Reddit call it a fun, exciting show that moved them, I think that'll all have been worth it if we don't get absolutely flamed on Reddit.
Simply, what would you hope someone does take away from seeing the show?
A big theme of our show is this idea of doing nothing. And I think I guess sentimentally, there's this idea that we only have our friends for a little while, and nothing can mean everything if it's spent with the right people.
I hope that there's a lesson from the show that I myself still struggle to really live, which is that spending time with your loved ones does not need to be a special occasion. It can be simple and mundane, and we just need to ask one another. We just need to be bold enough to ask one another to spend time together doing the most boring, simple, nothing tasks. So I hope that people leave the show and they call someone they love and say, please help me do my taxes.
I also hope they pee their pants and we create an unhinged delirium in them that they'll never escape from, and they'll always be chasing for the rest of their lives.
That too.
Beautiful. Well, thank you both so much for your time. And just leaving to say that the show Monks is at Lime Studio at Greenside at George Street, 7:35 p.m. from the 7th till 29th of August, not the 16th or the 23rd. And you're also you're back in Canada as well in October and November. So.